The Avengers Endgame is apparently a big deal. The Marvel movie officially opens today, and forecasters expect it to dominate the box office.
Whatever it takes.
We'll talk about that, plus a whole lot more for the Friday Business Report. And joining us now is Muriel Kopek with SDSU and Bottom Line Marketing. Hi, Muriel.
Hey, Ebony.
So what's the big deal about this movie?
There's a huge deal. It is a sequel of the final installment of the 21 Avenger movies and following last year's Infinity Wars. Infinity Wars ended with a cliffhanger that was an epic cliffhanger. And so all types of moviegoers are interested in going to see Endgame. In fact, Endgame is projected to become the largest box office opening of any movie in North America and Canada, probably hitting north of 300 million. Infinity War had 250 million in opening, and what's interesting is all the 21 movies from Marvel collectively have had $2.7 billion of opening box office weekend revenues. So this movie is so impressive that Fandango, who's the leading online ticket sales for movies, is outselling tickets for Endgame 5-1 over Infinity War over the same time frame. Large movie chains like AMC, which is the largest movie chain in the United States, their stock price increased 10% alone on the news that ticket sales, pre-ticket sales, are going up substantially. And these movie theaters, because the movie is really long, 3 hours, they're dedicating up to 75% of their screens this weekend to Endgame, which means if you want to see a movie this weekend, it's going to be Endgame.
And Muriel, an embarrassing week of sorts for Samsung. The release of its new Galaxy Fold has been delayed after bad reviews. Could this possibly hurt the brand?
Well, I think it will be hard for the brand to be hurt, but Samsung has had some embarrassing failures. They've had phones that have exploded. The Fold, which is actually a very cool phone. It's an amazing new innovation in the cell phone space. It's a combination cell phone and tablet. And so for consumers, it's a big win. In fact, for Samsung, they innovate at a far faster rate than all their competitors. So this is when they announced the Galaxy S10, they announced the Fold. People are very excited, but at a cost of $2,000 a unit, only early adopters would buy this. So that's why the brand damage would be limited. But what happened with the phone is that with the early testers, when they used it, the phone stopped working after a couple of days. There was an interesting screen protector on the screen that's actually meant to stay on. A lot of people took it off, so consumers might take it off. That got debris in the display, and it made the display, had issues with the display. What this means in general for the phone business, because innovation has been sorely lacking. This was a big shot of good news for the cell phone industry. A lot of people have criticized Apple for the last couple of releases with really offering nothing new, or criticizing them for adding features, removing, for example, the phone jack and making you buy expensive Bluetooth headphones. Yeah. So with that, this was a big thing for Samsung.
So finally, strong closings this week for the U.S. stock markets. What does that tell us?
Wow, this was a record week for several of the indices. The S&P 500, the NASDAQ all hit record highs earlier in the week. The Dow almost reached its record high. And a lot of this is due to, this is kind of corporate earnings season. And what corporations did is in the fall, when the stock market was dropping and they were concerned that the effects of the tax cut were not going to be pulling over into the first quarter, gave a lot of warnings about their earnings. Actually, the earnings this quarter have been extraordinarily strong. And in fact, the good news is that they're strong on operations, not on tax cuts or financial engineering. So this is really good for U.S. companies. Economists are still concerned because they're thinking about recession around the corner, the world economy being still struggling. Countries like Germany, the UK, Japan, China and Brazil are all in kind of economic trouble. And so will this kind of the longest bull market in U.S. history continue? As of today, the answer could be yes. The U.S. reported a really robust 3.2% GDP growth. The markets ended the week very strong, and kind of we're going to wait and see.
So that's all we have for the Friday Business Report. Mira Kopik, thank you so much.
Thanks, Ebony.